Alright, today's video we are going to talk about Anarchy. I clipped this to show this off in a video, but we're using Anarchy and I want to talk about it maybe getting buffed, Bungie. So because they added the new turret for the dungeon, Underdog, which is what we're going to end, and you'll see that we're in there doing a boss test damage. I just feel this is a very easy boss to do because it doesn't move or anything, so it's a lot easier to do damage testing. And you can stack multiple on it, so it works out really well. But this shows the potential of Anarchy, and if they buff its damage and add some sort of damage perk, which personally I would have preferred bait and switch on it, but I would love elemental honing on the linear, so I kind of wish they'd switch that around, bait and switch on this. Currently, Anarchy, if you don't know, doesn't have a damage perk. It's actually got kind of trash perks as a whole. It's only exotic traits are the only thing good. So let's let this play while we talk about this. So yeah, we're going to use Anarchy in this, show it off, see its damage and stuff. This is with other weapons and stuff. This shows the potential of it if you do a damage build. So something you do for like damage and stuff with works for clear. Currently, right now, the Psycho Pump is really good for damage. It's actually crazy for damage. A lot of people don't know, and a lot of people may know. I don't know. But I do hope they bring out a different element one with eventually that has elemental honing plus Envious Arsenal, or just some sort of damage perk with Envious Arsenal. It's currently the only one with Envious Arsenal, so it's the one I use. But this is without any type of damage increase other than on the weapon itself. There is no mods or anything that increases damage other than that. I took all that off. It is purely a damage test to show what's on the weapons themselves. Obviously, I could increase this easily past the number we hit at the end. I could definitely put that a lot higher, but I'm not going to. I'm just showing a base one. And if they happen to put baited switch or elemental honing on Anarchy, this would go even higher. So this is what I want. I want Bungie to actually upgrade Anarchy. I think that's the biggest problem. I just realized the sound's off. We'll put the sound on so y'all can hear what's going on. Talking in the background a little, so we're going to make it quieter. But yeah, so as a whole, I really want them to buff Anarchy. Its damage, now that the turret exists, is a lot less than the turret. The only thing that makes Anarchy better is something like this scenario. If you use Anarchy on any other boss, it's trash. Honestly, it is absolute dog shit. And putting a damage perk on it isn't going to fix that. But this boss it works so well with because there's 4 bosses total, and 2 on the right and 2 on the left count as 1. So it's technically 2 bosses even though there's 4. So that is why you can do this. Technically, they are also separate. It's very weird how this works, I'll be honest. It's very weird. But this is just an ideal of what to do for damaging. Again, nothing on the boots to increase my damage, nothing else. No exotic armor piece to increase my weapon damage or anything. Just period, straight up damage with the damage perks on the weapons, obviously. So that's it. And as you see, of course, it's going to add slam because this is a damage phase. If you don't use slam with a damage phase while you're throwing. And slam is about to be really broken, potentially. I can't wait to see what its damage is like next season. As you see, you shoot 2 on each of these bosses. You shoot the or the sidearm, and then you have this. I do have a damage sidearm I could use as well for this, but I wouldn't usually normally use that because obviously I need frag clear. I could switch to it for damage phase, but I feel like at the same time it doesn't matter that much. It would be a 35% increase to its own weapon, so it's not that much more increase. But as you see here, absolutely dominating with damage. I gotta reload shit, and I realized that I was like, oh shit, fuck that one up. But yeah, so this wasn't a perfect run, but could you imagine if Anarchy got elemental honing or it got bait and switch? Which bait and switch I think would work better with it because of what it is. I think elemental honing should have been on the solar linear with turret mode personally, but that's my opinion. But yeah, so we just wanted to test it out. Again, it wasn't a perfect damage cycle. We did have a little bit of issues, but you know, hey, I'm not perfect. But as a whole, that's not bad damage. Yes, there's ways to solo this boss one phase. I know this. This is just in general. There's no artifact mods, nothing boosting its damage. This is purely its own damage. Other than the damage perk that's currently on the grenade launcher, the Psycho Pump, Elemental Honing. That's the only thing that's damage increase on it, and that only helps that gun. But because I'm only using one gun that's a different element, it doesn't increase massively, so it's barely an increase. So yeah, as a whole, look at that damage. That's not bad damage. The problem is if you go do this on a single target boss that doesn't split up like this one does, you're not going to hit this number. You're not even going to hit half this number. Which is, I know it sounds weird because you're like, oh, well, you're just missing half it, so it should be half less. No, I don't understand the scaling for that, but for some reason, it's really bad for single damage. It's really bad. There were ways to make it good if you combo other weapons right, you know. But as a whole, if you use my build, it's not that great. But as you see here, it's really great. And then if you use the turret absolutely dominates this. The turret in one damage phase can hit over 5 million now. So as a whole, Anarchy has been pushed back for a long time, and I really think they need to update its damage bar more. Because yes, it would be nice. It's nice for multiple bosses that are, like what just happened here, and it works great. But any single target damage, the damage is so bad, and it's not worth it. I don't understand why that is. I don't really get why they can't, mess with that and fix that. But Bungie for you, what do you expect? But if they increase its damage by, I think about 12%, I think would be the accurate number base to go based on. And then they gave it bait and switch or elemental honing, it would definitely beef the damage up to the point where it wouldn't be stupid broken, but it would be really good again. Just personally, I feel like Anarchy's just been in the background way too long. I love it. It's one of my favorite damage weapons, especially back in the day it was cracked, and now it's so trash compared to what it once was. Yes, it has a use, but it's literally only this boss. I think one other boss in the game it has a use for, and that's it. Everything else it is trash for. Complete, utter trash. And personally, that sucks. I think that's really bad. I know all heavy weapons can't be damaged and stuff, but this is a damage weapon in the sense of what it does. It is all about DPS, and yet it's some of the lowest damage numbers in the game, unless you can actually get a situation like this where you can actually put it between the two. If they gave it like a 12% increase plus the damage increase, you'd be like 6 mil. So with one phase of this, and that's huge. That's a 2 mil difference, which is getting really close to what you can do. It'd be a little better technically than the current turret, but that's because it can hit multiple targets, whereas the turret can only hit one target at a time. So that's the downfall of the turret. It's really good for big bosses that are huge to hit, but it sucks for multi-bosses. So that's how these make up. Anarchy's for the multi-boss. If you can shoot multiple bosses and it counts like this one does, then it does even more damage, right? But then we've got the turret damage for single target damage for even more. That's why I think they need to buff this a bit. I think it'd be really good. Bungie, I doubt will, because I think they kind of just don't really care about Anarchy at this point. They gave it a little bit of a buff, I know, a while back, but I think they're more worried about the future weapons and what they're going to do with those, which I understand. I know a lot of the old armors they're reworking and stuff for exotics, but a lot of the exotic weapons, the only way they rework is they give it a catalyst, which this thing does need a catalyst, but if they just give it bait and switch or elemental honing, it's not going to be worth a shit to use still. The damage increase just won't be enough to make the difference. It really needs that little bit of damage increase as well, and that will balance it out really well. If Bungie does this, then it will definitely be able to compete with the turret, and it would be really fun to use and really nice to use. Personally, I love Anarchy. I love the turret more currently because I love the idea of the turret. If you actually use it correctly and know how to use it, you can put out some ridiculous numbers. There's a little bit of perfection going on. If you fuck it up, it doesn't do shit, but hey, that's its own issue. Well, if you do the damage correction, you put out a ridiculous number with the turret from Thunder Doctrine, so it is worth it. But again, I just want Bungie to buff Anarchy. I want it to be on par with the turret and actually useful, because currently, like I said, the turret can drop 5 point something mil. I don't remember exactly what, but it drops literally a mil more. Like, it's about a mil more or a mil more. And I don't have to put as much effort into it. As well, this one takes more because I have to shoot 2 targets at least. Whereas the turret, I mark it on one and I'm Gucci. I can shoot the other one with another weapon and back and forth, and it's good. Whereas this one, you're putting 2 on each. That just tells you the damage. The fact that I did put 2 on each boss just to get this type of number shows you how bad this is. If it would have been one single damage target like it is for the turret, it would be a lot lower. And that's bad. So, as a whole, Bungie, please please buff Anarchy so it's actually a useful damage option again. I don't want it to be so good that, it's the best in the game, but I want it to be where you can go into like a raid boss, shoot it on, use a couple other weapons that you wanted to try out for damage, like slugs or something, and make it good again. Anarchy should be ticking, but single boss damage just doesn't tick enough to use. That's why a lot of people don't use it. Even when they're doing slug damage or testing slugs, they still don't use Anarchy because it's not worth it. For single target damage, this is not enough. Now, mind you, the slug nukes a lot's great now, especially the one from this dungeon, which you should definitely get. But as a whole, Anarchy needs that tick bonus. It needs that little bit of extra damage bonus. It needs that some sort of catalyst that gives it a damage bonus as well. Not Vorpal, Bungie. Don't you fucking give it Vorpal. I know people say it technically has Vorpal, but that's why I guess they got nerfed so much when they nerfed Vorpal to shit. They nerfed it for Anarchy. I don't know. So a lot of people have told me I don't remember this, but a lot of people keep telling me that intrinsically Anarchy has Vorpal. It doesn't state it, but it actually is there. But because Vorpal got nerfed, that's why its damage got nerfed so hard. If that's true, someone let me know. I don't know. I don't remember what this thing got. It's been years since I've used it, and then I used it because of this boss. This boss is the only reason I've thrown it out in years. So if it wasn't for this boss, I wouldn't have even touched it. And I remember how much I loved it and love it now again. So it's like, Bungie, please buff it. Make it where it actually should be useful. I don't think it should be better than the torrent for single target damage, but it should be way better than the fucking torrent for double target damage. Like this boss. It shouldn't be less, and that's really bad. So as a whole, Bungie, I think the system is kind of obvious. Please fix this. Please make it better. I really want this thing to be useful again. I don't think it should be better than the turret, but it should definitely be better if it's doable bosses like this. You can shoot 2 boss sets. I'm just saying, Bungie, that's my opinion. I love Anarchy. I really want it to come back and be useful again, because currently it just sucks. It really does. If you're going to do single target damage with something, use the turret from Sunder Doctrine if you're able to. If you're not, Anarchy's free for everyone now, so you can grab it, I guess. I assume it's free for everyone. I actually don't know if you still have to go buy that DLC, even though the DLC no longer exists, or the loot does. I don't know how that works. I assume it's free for everyone, so. And if it's not, then oof. That sucks, because those are the best. This could be one day the best weapon, hopefully. We'll see. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, like, subscribe, leave a comment. Do you think Anarchy should reign supreme again, or do you think it should stay trash? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching. Adios. We out. Bye.